Now, as far as Mr. Nehru was concerned, let us also not forget that 1 month before the conflict broke, he goes on a foreign visit and announces at the airport that I've asked the army to throw out the Chinese. Now, there was no intelligence assessment, which we now know, that for 7 months China had been prepared while we were pushing small pockets forward. Then, with regard to the command, Mr. Nehru and Mr. Krishna Menon appoint a favorite General Kaul who has no field experience, was an officer of the Army Service Corps to command there. Orders go directly from Delhi, bypassing all the commanders on the field. So I think 52 years have elapsed. I'm not going into the politics of when this should be done or why it wasn't done. I think the time has come. This has to be done. And I'll tell you why. I go along with Maruf. The state of civil-military relationship is as bad today as it was in 1961. The defense
budget. So you're saying that there are important and valuable lessons to be learned?
No, the defense budget has gone down to 1.72% of GDP, which is what it was in the 50s. We are not prepared. Let's not repeat the mistakes of the past. I'm not saying when to make it public. Make it public when you find it appropriate. Let the country learn. And please,
what is the opposition of the political fraternity to this point of view?
Unpreparedness.
Sanjay Jha, we might be six people.
I totally agree with him. I totally agree with what Mr. Partha
We might be six people asking questions and debating this issue. Unlike, contrary to how you would want it to be done, the issue is why hasn't the political fraternity shown the will to get the answers out and declassify these documents? And why hasn't the Congress led the charge? Because they are the one who want political accountability, isn't it?
Anand, when you are in government, you are privy to a lot of strategic, developments that you are best positioned to take a call on. That's the reason why you're there in government. So let's not try and challenge that decision. I mean, as Mr. Parthasarathy said, I think that was a reasonable statement. At some point in the future, if the government decides to declassify, so be it. How far into the future? But the point I want to make here is Mr. Puri, Mr. Puri tried to politicize the issue. Now, Mr. Puri tried to politicize the issue. I want to give you an example of Kargil that everybody seems to be going
1 minute, Mr. Sanjay Jha, just 1 minute. It's not just
you had General Musharraf. Can you give me a minute, please? Can you please give me a minute? General Musharraf flies into Indian territory in a helicopter 11 kilometers. He sleeps on Indian soil and he goes back and the Indian government did not know about it. In Kargil, 50 soldiers were already dead fighting for India.
Please consider why we are debating this today. Mr. Jha, why we are debating this today is because Australian journalist Neville Maxwell has released parts of this report. I just want you to consider what he said about why the Indian government might be cagey about making this report public. Sanjay Jha, please give us a minute.
Are you trying to tell me that an Australian war journalist put something on the online?
An Australian war journalist who was here as the Times correspondent in the 60s, who saw what happened, who wrote about it, but he was not heard. He was silenced.
He has specifically said
his voice was turned down. He was ostracized for his point of view because there was a politically driven perception that led to believe that it was China the aggressor, and that is what is being questioned. The decisions taken on ground were influenced by political and administrative decisions, and that is what we are questioning. Who said what, who did what, and why did they do it?
But this is a report. Either you turn around and say that this report is not genuine, or if this is your own Indian Army report which is being leaked because somebody gave him a copy. Neville Maxwell's political conclusions I do not agree with. But the Indian Army report talks about deficiencies in the Indian Army. And I think the public has a right to know what was wrong in 1962 and also a right to know how
Mr. Hardeep Puri,
after 10 years of UPA rule.
Mr. Hardeep Puri, the public had a right to know back in 1999 and when the NDA government was there in force. And if they have not done it then, you cannot just dismiss it and say, I don't know why they didn't do it then. We should do it now. No, that is not an argument which is acceptable.
Yes, absolutely.
You had a point to make.
Yes,
because we did not do it in 1999.
Mr. Puri, I just want to go back to Sanjay Jha. I want to go back to Sanjay Jha because the main reason why are we discussing this today, Mr. Sanjay Jha? We're talking
And
about this today because, irrespective of what your opinion of Neville Maxwell may be, he has specifically said the reasons for the long-term withholding of this report must be political, indeed probably partisan, perhaps even familial. There are very specific reasons given out by Neville Maxwell as to why this report may have been suppressed by successive Congress governments. I mean, we need an answer to that. There is a very specific reason that Neville Maxwell has given, and he's put it out there when he's put out these 100 pages of the report that he suspects there would be political reasons behind keeping this classified all these years.
Well, all I'm saying, I condemn the choice of your word being suppressed. Let me tell you.
These are not my words. I'm just quoting Neville Maxwell.
Foreign relation or foreign policy implications. One minute. There are also the military strategy that you employed in 1962.
India and China are very different countries today.
But please let me tell you. If you read the sections of the report, there was a military intelligence failure. I'm sure whether it's a bureaucracy or the defense minister or the prime minister.
Who drove the military intelligence failure? Who was calling the shots, Mr. Sanjay Jha?
Each of them have a collective.
Who was calling the shots? The military on ground were following instructions.
Witch hunt here. You are not contributing to a very meaningful discussion.
Are you?
This discussion.
Are you by deflecting the questions and trying to digress from the issue? Are you contributing to a meaningful discussion, Mr. Jha? The question is, who was calling the shots? Who was sending dictats to people, the forces at the Thagla Bridge, and right from sitting in Delhi without even knowing?
On Times Now. You allowed Ravi Shankar Prasad's comment when he talked about Pandit Nehru and he said, this is why we
allowed the Congress's comment of Abhishek Manu Singhvi also.
That was, I think,
we allowed both voices to speak, but our questions are common to both.
No, but
General
Malik, look at how provocative. Look at how provocative that statement is.
General Malik, do you agree with what Mr. Jha is saying? That it was military intelligence failure and that is what should be highlighted?
Can we have some respect
for them? Or do you disagree and do you feel that political accountability needs to be fixed? Whoever was calling the shots in the civilian government needs to be accountable for the mistakes they made.
We are not discussing this objectively. We are getting into political fight and I don't want to get involved in that. But I want to correct. Firstly, I want to tell Harjeet Puri that I have read the report and I know exactly what is written in that. Secondly, I also want to tell Sanjay, he's a good friend of mine, that after Kargil, the government ordered an inquiry under Mr. Subramaniam, and that inquiry report is in public. And even the military, which no doubt suffered in the beginning, we welcomed the report, and we also wanted that all the lessons that have been learned should be followed up.
Yes.
In this particular, there were army officers also to blame, as Maroof said. In fact, I blame the senior army officers for not standing up to wrong policies which were dictated by the policy makers. You're talking of military intelligence. Military intelligence was nowhere. In fact, the person in charge, Mr. Malik, the director of the DIB, he was the one who was more into laying the policies rather than collecting intelligence and making an assessment. And that is why the entire policy making went wrong, and the military was asked to follow the forward policy, which I believe should have been refused because we didn't have the resources. And that is what has been brought out in detail in this report.
So, Maroof, is that why this report was classified? Was it to shield the policy makers that General Malik is talking about?
No, General Malik has obviously read the report and he's made all the right observations as a military commander. But let me bring out two other quick points. One is Neville Maxwell's credentials. Neville Maxwell was given access to the report by the then army chief who had commissioned the report, General Chaudhry, sometime in the mid-1960s. But he was asked in his book, In India's China's War, not to give specific names, but draw lessons from the report to try and paint the big picture. More importantly, there were two other people who have read the report and have not gone public with it. So this question of who has read the report, whether it's right on the internet or not, there was a Defense Ministry Historical Division study which was carried out about this operation, which even put out extracts of this report and its findings on the internet. When it was pulled off, somebody got weak knees on the Defense Ministry. The second point which I want to make is no political leader can be blamed in that report because there were no notes kept of the meetings that were chaired by Krishna Menon.
Yes.
Because he said that these are all classified meetings, no notes are to be kept, which is really absurd, because in such situation, notes and minutes are kept in detail. General Malik will authenticate what I'm saying, but these notes were not there. So the blame could not be put. So therefore, the biggest problem is the blame can only go by inference.
Very interesting section in the report.
Yes, Mr. Puri.
No, there is one very interesting section in the report which says that the matter is very sensitive and hence no minutes will be kept. And then the defense minister goes out and announces that we have issued instructions that the Chinese be thrown out of this area. Now, all these point towards complete mismanagement. Now, for instance, as General Malik is saying, we followed a forward policy without having the military strength to carry that through. Number two, the Lieutenant Colonel Katoch, who was in charge of intelligence on the border, it comes out clearly in the report, says that he's a brigadier by the time the report is written, that if I had known that we were planning an offensive, I would have advised the army headquarters that not to do this, because the Chinese will not only react, but they will react strongly, and this would lead to a military debacle. So all this is there in the report.
Yes.
I had never suggested that General Malik has not read it. I was suggesting that my friend Sanjay Jha had not read it. So General Saab, please, I hope I didn't make that. Second thing, this report is a technical report on training, on equipment, on tactical issues. It should be made public only for that reason. The political debate can follow. It clearly follows from there that Mr. Krishna Menon, the defense minister, and Panditji, the prime minister, were completely clueless.
Not just that,
it is the same mindset
Sanjay
which
Jha,
allowed Panditji to take the issue to the United Nations on the Kashmir issue.
There is another doubt that I have. Is the government and is the Congress very clear, vehemently trying to suppress this or not make this report declassify this report, because it would actually throw out of the window the perception that China was the aggressor? Because that is what is being challenged the most, isn't it? However you call it, Jawaharlal Nehru's forward policy or India's aggression, the entire perception that a particular piece of land was claimed as our land, and they said to throw the Chinese out. Was that actually true? That's the biggest question that this report actually asks. In terms of perception, was India misled by the then Prime Minister and the then government?
You should invite Mr. Partha Sarthi to speak on this. He's actually served in the area.
I want to make two quick points here. First to Mr. Puri, because he continues to make political statements. I think India can be so unsafe under the BJP, NDA can be understandable.
Yeah, listen, my friend, I read the report. I read the report.
Was not
listen,
even aware
I spent 6 hours reading the report.
The defense minister was accompanying terrorists to Kandahar.
You would not be saying the thing
you are not hearing what I'm saying.
If you had even
your Home Minister LK Advani.
No, I'm telling you, you would not even be using these arguments.
The Home Minister LK Advani was not even aware that Defense Minister Jaswant Singh was accompanying terrorists to Kandahar. So please don't express your concern for national security.
You haven't even read the report.
I want to mention something else. 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 Can I finish? Let me tell you this, Anand, since you asked me the question, please request Mr. Puri to just kind of take a deep breath. The point I'm making is that it's very easy in retrospect to criticize the forward policy. Mr. Puri, don't worry, even I'm a student of political history, so don't worry about it. The point I have to make here is that China has always had an expansionist attitude where its borders are concerned, not just with India, but with several other countries. You can confirm it with Mr. Raza.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you there. I have to interrupt you there because this report, time and again, right from the late 1960s till date, Neville Maxwell and many others have challenged this perception that the Congress has tried to create, that China was the expansionist and it was not India who played the aggressor.
Yes,
declassify the report and prove your theory.
Mr. Partha Sarthi, let's get your response to this. Mr. Partha Sarthi, let's get your response to this. This particular report, is it not questioning this very point?
That India has a policy of annexation.
Mr. Partha Sarthi?
No, the point is China has been apprehensive that India has got a policy of annexation, which has been misplaced, but that is what gets debated.
Amag, now if people assure me I'm not political, that I will not be interrupted, state your specific question, because I'm rather tired.
Mr. Parthasarathy, the question is, as Anand was saying, that this report, does it not question who the aggressor in the 1962 war was? Is it the question of perception? Is it the report questioning the fact that it was India that was the aggressor which led to the war, which was a debacle?
Well, let me say, Maxwell tries to make that point, but the reality is different. He is wrong.
Maxwell is
you
wrong.
are not an aggressor if you are positioning troops on your own border. You are not moving into the Chinese side by any stretch of imagination, particularly in the Ladakh sector.
So what was the forward policy about that?
And up to no, the forward policy was mistaken, as General Malik says. It was all right diplomatically, but when you when you do something military, you should have the force to back it up. And it should be done only in consultation and with the approval of professionals. When you sideline the Army Chief General Thapar, when you appoint a favorite with no battle experience as your corps commander, when the Defense Ministry through a joint secretary called Sareen deals with them, when the intelligence is provided by, as General Malik says, by B.N. Malik, who was a charlatan and misled the government. He gave assessments without information. He had no business to do that. I think ultimately the buck stops with the Prime Minister. Now the Defense Minister has resigned, and right now things are heated. But this has to be made public because, as I said, we are making the same mistakes now in reducing defense budgets, in not providing the forces enough to function on the China border. And I think to avoid this in future, this has to be made public. And we should go about doing what is right with professional advice from the military. The state of civil-military relations today is as bad as it was in 1961. And let me tell you something, I have a loyalty to my service, the Foreign Service.